to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's remain standing for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Before we get into the meeting, I'd just like to say that Commissioner Bob Gerwin's not with us today, as he's with his wife, and let's certainly keep them in prayer. And Mr. Hugh Shepherd, good, dedicated guy from Glade Creek, passed away last Thursday. Let's keep that family in their prayers. He was on the Glade Creek Fire Department, so forth. Okay, we got a couple of changes in the agenda. Over on presentation of the board, item number 3, we'll scratch that off and move on down to general business. Item number 3, we'll scratch that off till next meeting. So with that being said, ask for a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion, need a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 4-0. Approval of minutes from September the 2nd, 2025. I trust everybody's looked over these. Open the floor for a motion to accept.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from September the 2nd, 2025.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? 4-0. Open the floor for public comment time. If anyone has any things, concerns they'd like to talk about, please come forward. Seeing no movement, we'll close the public comment time and move on down to the next item, public hearing. Letter of intent regarding funding. We'll turn that over to April Hunt.
This is the LGC requirement for the Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant Program. We do have the letter of intent, so the public can see that the county intends to, we actually have put in the application for the red light process. Now, I will point out that they've added $60,000 to this principal amount. We're getting details on that right now. Because we were told 1.3, but they have added 60,000 in this letter of intent. So if I can answer any questions for the board, but this is part of the LGC requirement for the public hearing.
So I'd open the floor for a motion to accept.
We need to open the public hearing.
Open
the public hearing. I'm sorry. We'll open the floor now for the public hearing. If anybody has any comments, concerns? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Are we ready for a motion this time?
And then we just need the approval of the resolution, and Lisa has that up on the screen now.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion?
Well, with the understanding that it's amended in the resolution to 1.36 million.
Yeah, and as soon as we get details if that was either a typo on their side or if we actually qualify for that additional 60,000, yeah, we'll amend that.
Okay.
As needed.
Okay. Well, we got a motion second. No further discussion. All in favor? 4-0. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on down to Melissa from Alleghany in Motion.
Good morning.
Morning.
So the first one that I have is the 5311 admin grant. That's just the 2.5 of our full-time employees' salaries. Their fringe benefits
Okay. Okay. Is there more than one, or just this one?
There's a total of 3.
Do I open?
There's a total of 3.
Yeah, but do I open and close, or do this one, or what we doing? How we doing? Separate, okay. So we'll close the public hearing this time?
I think we need to open
Open
it.
it first.
Open, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll open the public hearing if anybody has any comments or concerns about this. Seeing no movement, we'll close the public hearing. Ask for a motion to accept.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? 4-0. Now go ahead.
The next one is, I'll do the 5311 capital grant. That is for a replacement of one minivan, the logos, and some equipment.
Okay. We'll open the floor for a public hearing on that. If anybody has any concerns or comments. Seeing no movement, we'll close the public hearing. Ask for a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Got a motion,
Second.
And a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? 4-0.
And the last one is our 5310, our elderly and disabled grant. That's a 50/50 match.
Okay. We'll open the public comment, public hearing. Anybody has any comments, concerns? Seeing no movement, we'll close the public hearing. Ask for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Presentation of the board. Travis Dahl.
Morning, everyone. I'm here to do the presentation for our accomplishments for our department, and this year has been a tough one due to unforeseen sickness in our department, and one of our biggest one is in a time of need, y'all allowed us to let Tony work partly remote, so she's working partly remote from home, and technology and being able to switch from home to her. We've adapted to that, and it worked fairly well, I think. I haven't received any complaints since it's been rolling, and being able to work remotely has really helped her out and kept my office running very smoothly. The second accomplishment I'm proud of too is we made it another full year without any legal disputes, getting sued or turned in for something wrong. To my world, that's pretty big. And then we've also, with being her working remotely, we started doing a lot of Google calendars instead of all paper. We switched everything a lot more digital. That way we just add back and forth on each other's calendar. We made it work. That's pretty much my main accomplishment for the year.
That's what it's all about, is making it work. You got different situations arise sometimes that you're not planned for.
Especially when you're a small department, it's hard.
Exactly. I think y'all done a great job. I hadn't heard any complaints much at all. I think y'all done a good job. Anybody else have any questions?
How's that new pickup doing?
Good. Yeah. Drives good, gets better fuel mileage, so.
You look better driving.
Even though it is a Chevrolet.
Yeah.
Do you drive up through town and look at yourself in the reflection in the glass?
Still driving.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that because I know personally, because I deal with the inspection department a lot, and yes, you know, with Tony's family and stuff, and I think it's worked great. I think she's done a fabulous job with it and trying to do something different, you know. Sometimes you have to do an audible, and I just wanted to say that the inspection department, I deal with different counties, and we have one inspector most of the time. Sometimes Daniel will back us up, but I think it's a very, very efficient inspection department in the whole county. You know, I know one time in 2007, 2008, when they hired Brian before the bank thing, and we thought we was gonna have so much stuff going on here that, and I think Tony was hired about that time, wasn't she?
Yeah, a little bit before. I was hired in '07, so about
Seven.
2006.
Yeah. Yeah, so, anyway, within about a year's time, I had to figure out what to do with people. And from then on, it's just been you and Tony, and it's been, I just want to say it's very efficient and does very well. And there's a lot of these counties have sometimes 4, 5, 6 inspectors, and you guys get to everything. So I just wanted to add that to it. So great job. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Mr.
Mr. Shepley?
Travis is doing a fantastic, and Tony are doing a great job. And one of the things I really admire about Travis and Daniel is that they've cross-trained, so they can help each other out if there's a need for it. So that is really helpful in this county, and that's happened in multiple parts of the county where folks have cross-trained so that they can help their fellow, managers out, and I appreciate that. I don't have to think that much about Travis's area because he and Tony have it under control. It's like, they're like offensive linemen in football, you only get attention when something goes wrong, and you deserve more than that.
It always amazes me when something big happens that our crowd comes together and does what it takes to get the job done.
Yeah.
That's what they did in her situation, and technology helped that along too, but everybody was willing to help each other.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Next is Emergency Management Coordinator, Mr. Daniel Roden.
Morning.
Morning.
Yeah, actually, I filled in for Travis Friday while he was at the conference, and they ran me all over. I felt like I drove 1,000 miles by the time I got there. So you guys know I wear several hats, like several other county employees do. So I'll go through a few of the things from a couple of the different areas that I look over. But first, I want to touch on Tropical Storm Helene, because that was the biggest thing that's happened here since the earthquake. I don't want to say it too loud because it brings it on. So I worked with the Army Corps of Engineers and some contractors to try to get some debris removal stuff done in this county to clean up some of that stuff. And that's a multi-headed snake to deal with, but the first part of that was the right-of-way debris removal. And that part of the debris removal is complete. Ended up with just under 50,000 cubic yards of material that ran through basically over here at the transfer station. It's a lot of stuff. So waterway debris removal and what they call private property debris removal is just kind of kicking off. It's a big government wheel. It turns pretty slow. But they are supposed to be, a couple weeks ago, they told me they were mobilizing resources of people to clean up their actual private property. So all of that's underway. Also speaking to Helene, I did complete the disaster reimbursement funding through FEMA. We call that public assistance. It's not for the public, it's for public entities like the government. But the total amount of that reimbursement was right at $225,000. Small portion of that funds will reimburse the county for my overtime, the expenses that I had to incur to facilitate that response. But the majority of that will be used to reimburse the volunteer organizations that would qualify, the rescue squad and fire departments predominantly. That project has been completed. I've been told the funding was signed off. It got hung up in DC. It sat on Christy Nolan's desk for eternity. She finally signed it off, and it's making its way through the state. I expect to have that money mid-October, at which point we'll distribute it to the organizations that it goes to. I had on my list of accomplishments that we were fully staffed again in dispatch, but that didn't last long. But what I do want to say, one, we did interviews last week, and I have a couple offers out to a couple of people that I think will fit our team well. But we do have an EMD certified dispatcher on every shift. And that came to fruition on July the 24th. We had our first CPR save. The rescue squad was gracious enough to give us present us with a nice little plaque for the CPR devastating. You know, I can't express how proud I am of that crowd that works down the hall there. You know, they're there 24/7, 365, answering the call when it's needed. And I think it speaks to what they were able to do to coach someone, to coach somebody who has never done CPR, to give CPR to someone else and save their life. That's what we're there for. Speaking to dispatch, we've also developed a preliminary agreement with EMS for some quality assurance type things. One, that's required by 911, but two, we think the way we're going to do it is going to be more interactive. We're going to let paramedics, we're going to give them a script of some kind of call. We're going to have them call 911, and our guys are going to answer it and walk and go through the stages. That's, you know, I think that's pretty neat. Plus, I think it'd be pretty interesting for Franklin to call in saying he was pregnant. And have my dispatcher walk through how to deliver a baby.
Yeah,
You know, that's just
definitely.
whatever kind of scenarios we can come up with, we want to throw loops at them and see how they handle it. We've begun to work and update the backup 911 center that's in Daly's facility, the EMS base. You guys may remember kind of a hodgepodge of old furniture and old whatever monitors that was cheap and laying around we could use, but we want that to actually be a mirror. Be one seat, not two, but a mirror of what you'll find down the hall here. And for continuity purposes, why would you want it to be any different than what you're used to sitting at every day? Plus, it all gets paid for by 911 money. So, the other thing I want to touch on quickly is more of a personal accomplishment, I suppose. Most of you may be aware that I'm currently serving as the president of the North Carolina Emergency Management Association. My tenure ends at the end of October. Looking forward to being past president. But I think the biggest accomplishment that's come from that over the last year, there was a bill that was presented in the state legislature that would have dramatically changed how we respond to emergencies, and not for the better. It would have taken away local control and basically handed it to the state and the National Guard. I think I think the association's impact helped squash that bill before it was able to come to fruition. So, at any rate, that's what we've been up to for the last few months. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions, comments?
Other than,
Go ahead. I had a lady come in this morning, wanted to apply for the dispatch job, but I told Bill about it, so
Okay,
the girl across the hall's got the application.
very good. I'll look into it. And see. Like I said, I have a couple offers out. We'll see how it goes.
Tim?
yeah, I just want to say thank you again, and one thing you didn't mention that you do, one of your hats is sprinkler systems, which we don't have much in Alleghany, but every once in a while they'll pop up, and Daniel has to approve that, plans and stuff, and inspect it. So he has a lot of things going on, but we appreciate your work.
Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say that, you know, the people of this county should be comforted by knowing that we have Daniel in this role, and his reputation on a statewide basis in regards to the hurricane is, you know, been remarkable. So, I mean, for a small county like ours, the response that he led was, you know, recognized on a statewide basis. And so we're in good hands, and he's constantly having to shift emphasis from this to this, and he thrives in a flexible type situation where he has to constantly change the priorities. But we appreciate all that you did.
Thank you.
If I remember correctly, you're the go-to man in the state for earthquake.
What's that now?
You are the go-to man for the state on earthquake problem. From the last one we had, if I remember right.
I wish we'd quit saying the word earthquake.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as far as in the last 100 years, the only emergency management coordinator who's dealt with an earthquake is me.
Yeah.
So,
I remember some of those conversations. But I'm too, the dispatchers probably get the least recognition and stuff. They're sitting back there in that room, and they got a nice facility for what that's worth. But 911 doesn't start without a dispatcher. I don't care how good everybody else is, if there ain't somebody on that phone. And our system's come a long ways with education about handling situations. I can talk them through.
it has, and we're constantly looking at ways to improve it, make it better. And, you know, we get that allotment from the 911 board every year, and, you know, I think historically in the past, it maybe didn't get utilized the way to its fullest extent, to say that. Well, it's my intention to use every dollar that I can to make that place better.
So I'm very proud of our dispatch. I'm very proud of our whole 911 system, but dispatch ranks up there at the top, because without them, it don't go nowhere.
And I like it when they're down there, because that means I don't have to sit down.
That's true. Any other comments? We appreciate you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on down to general business. Eric Hamilton, District Soil and Water. Morning.
Ask questions, I don't know what this is about.
Fairgrounds and Veterans Park. What,
It's gravel.
Commissioner Irwin had some questions that
Okay.
he wanted brought up.
so we just need to, he's not present, so
Yeah, and I'm not sure if anybody else had questions.
does anybody else have any questions for Eric?
See you at the next meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Ms. Rita Miller, Tax Administrator.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I wanted to just give you a little bit of information this morning about the public utilities companies. So back in 2022, we got the notice from the state that our sales ratio had fallen out of the recommended range. And at that time, they recommended we up our reval schedule to a 4-year cycle. But because we were less than 75,000 parcels, we did not have to do that. So in the board in 2023, we discussed changing to the 4-year cycle, and at that time, the board did not wish to do that. So this is the first year that our values have been equalized. So public utility companies is like Blue Ridge Electric, and then most of ours is cell phone companies. So when we fall below that range for public service, then the state equalizes the value that we're allowed to send out the tax bills on. So this is the year that they equalize those values. And I gave you that information. That's each of the public service companies that we get from the state. And so our loss of tax dollars due to the equalization was $45,000 this year, which is actually less than what I thought it was going to be when we first started discussing this. And then I asked Lisa to put this up to kind of explain a little bit about sales ratio. So you can see in 2015, you want to be between 90 and 110%. That's the state's recommendation. So you can see that from 2015 to 2021, we stay really good right there. But then in 2021, we start dropping. And of course, we all know what the real estate market is doing, and that's the reason for that. But the reason to stay close to that 100% is important is because when you see that number stop dropping, that means we're not hitting what the market is doing, but more importantly, different property types. There's no equity. So residential properties and commercial properties, there's no equity between what their value is, which correlates with what they're paying in taxes. And you want everybody to be paying their fair share. So that's why that's important when that number starts dropping. So I just wanted to share that with you, ask any questions you may have, and at some point, I'll probably bring back a 4-year recommendation to change to that 4-year schedule. That is the state's recommendation, and this, again, kind of shows how ours has gone, our sales ratio, and then I just wanted to share why that's important. It's important for everybody to just be paying their fair share, not more and not less.
We appreciate that. Anybody got any questions or comments?
So the only way you get that percentage back up is have to raise the taxes, or value of the property.
To do the revaluation, to bring all values back to market value, yes.
So that'll change when we finish up this reval.
It will, and
That's
that's
right.
effective January 1, 2027.
Yeah. So really we'll have the full picture in January with the line coming
Yes, we
out.
should be back up to about the 99%.
Right, right. And the state recommends a 4-year reval.
They do. They started that in 2014. They started recommending that counties on an 8-year cycle, which there were many, many out there at that time, start working toward a 4-year cycle. So what we did here was go from an 8-year to a 6-year. So this will be our second time at 6 years. And then, we may want to look at going 5 and then 4, or just going to a 4 to try to meet the recommendation.
Okay. Any comments, questions? Any more?
I do. I have a question. So when do we have to make that decision to go to the 4-year or the 5-year option?
So you would need to do that at least 18 months
Before.
before that. So I'm thinking sometime next year, I'd like to bring that discussion back up to the board and see what the board's direction is at that time.
So the state just recommends 4-year, but we don't have to go 4-year.
No, it is not a requirement.
We could go back to 8 if we wanted to.
You could, but you're
Okay.
really getting.
I know, I just,
Yeah.
Bill?
Yes. Rita, what's the ideal sales ratio?
100% is your ideal ratio.
Okay. You think we'll be back at 99?
We should, yes, that rebound will be back in the 99 range.
Okay.
That 2021 year there, when it starts dropping off, was right about a year into COVID.
Yes, sir.
COVID started in like, I remember the lockdown started in March of 2020.
Yeah, and so that's when we started seeing,
Yep.
a lot of properties selling for considerably more than the valuation.
Crazy numbers.
Cash transactions, and, just things we had never seen before, It's not just here, that's statewide.
So you really relate that to COVID and moving forward? Is, okay. All right, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rita.
Let's see. David Spicer, Senior Project and Operations Manager.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board, to allow me to come to bring you a report today. So the courthouse has been a subject of conversation for now over 2 years. So we have completed the scope of work that was originally put forth to the board at the courthouse. The CO has been issued, and the final walkthrough by the architects and design engineering firm will take place the week of the 22nd. So this week, there is an additional opportunity for us to help our courthouse, our courtroom. So there is a change order that's coming down the line for some cabinetry in the courtroom itself and a handrail in the hallway downstairs. So that'll be completed this week, and all that should be good to go when David Daniels and his team comes up on the week of the 22nd to do their walkthrough. The transfer facility, we had 3.32 tons of commingle. We had no cardboard. We had 3.62 tons of scrap metal, which yielded the county $648. Price of metal has drastically went down, but hopefully that'll come back up. We are working with TRC. Everything's still yet on schedule. So a few things that was added that we need to perform for this USDA and the electrical co-op was environmental and floodplain surveys. So we are in the process of getting those done. I have a phone call scheduled with Wendy with TRC today after the meeting, so we should have some information on that really soon and be able to complete those things that are required of us on that. So animal control, this time we had 1 call, assistant sheriff's department, 5 wheel checks, 12 dogs and or cats picked up. We had 11 animals running at large. We had 5 bites and 5 quarantines. We had 7 animals trapped with a total of 109 hours, 34 calls, 821 miles traveled. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have on any of this.
Questions, comments? Y'all been busy?
Yeah, it's been busy.
Very busy. Hearing none, Dave, we appreciate that report.
Thank you.
Next is April Ham, CFO. Finance.
So your monthly finance report is a reflection of the current fiscal year, so this is actually the first full view you're getting of the current fiscal year. Year-to-date revenue, $8,842,733.48, which represents 37% of the approved general fund budget for the year. Year-to-date expenditures, $4,862,347.87, which represents 20% of the approved general fund budget. And we're 21% into that budget, and the approved general fund budget for fiscal year '26 is $23,912,466. Bank balance as of this morning, in the checking account, we have $7,212,223.41. In the savings account, we have $17,470,589.83, for a total of $24,682,813.24. For the town of Sparta grant savings account, which is separate, the total as of this morning is $14,454,813.60. And then you have a comparison from 24, 23, and 22. Our net financials take into consideration the revenue and expenditures year-to-date, $3,980,385.61. And we just received the sales tax on Friday. So Robin got that worked up and we got that posted this morning. So the local option sales tax for July, $143,006.88, and then the quarter cents sales tax option, $39,673.11. So can I answer any questions?
Our local quarter cent sales tax, that's the monthly.
That is the monthly. That's just for July.
You got the idea of the total for the
For-
8 months, 8 months through August or whatever?
The last report that I gave the board was for the year. So now that's just July. So we end up getting that sales tax 6 weeks in the rear.
Right.
So are you asking for last year? Or are you asking
I
what?
just wonder what the other total last year, if you had that information, I won't put you on the spot.
Last year, it was $402,753.16 for the total fiscal year. Just
lot
for
more.
that quarter cents.
That's a lot more than ever was projected, if I remember
Yeah,
right.
it is, yeah.
So,
I believe the projection, when the board first started talking about was about 250, 275.
I believe so.
Yeah,
It's about double, close to it.
almost,
Yep.
yeah.
All right,
I got a question.
okay. Tim?
So, and do we know what the comparison was last year for the same month? Do you have that in front of you?
For the net financials, I don't have that.
Well, like the sales tax,
For last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
like that 1 month. I'm just curious what it compared to the month this year.
Oh, month comparison just for July
Yeah.
last year? No, I do not have that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Sweet.
And I will say, we're gonna change up this report just a little bit. Going through the LGC process this time, they had a couple of recommendations for the board for just a monthly report for the finance officer to report to the board. And, Mr. Shepley and I have had those discussions too. So we're gonna change up this report just a little bit. And if you would like to see that comparison for each report, I can do that for every report.
I think from a sales tax point of view, it's good to know from year over year to see if we're decreasing, increasing. So I think it's a good point to put in there.
And we have normally done that.
Yeah.
Just receiving that on Friday and getting it posted
Yeah,
this morning.
I was thinking you did.
I'm-
Yeah, it's all
yeah,
good.
Apologize for that.
Mr.
Yes, and Mr. Chairman, as April and I discussed this, and she brings forward the new way of reporting, what I'm interested in is just a little more detail about the trends that are occurring in different departments, so that we can put our heads together and say, we need to do some correction here, or we're doing, everything's cool, whatever. It just gives us gives us a better pulse on feeling about how things are going.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? If not, we'll move on down. Ms. Kelly Walsh, Appalachian Health.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us. I am here this morning to present to you an amended resolution regarding our opioid settlement funding. So what you have before you here, if you'll go down a little bit to the highlighted area, indicates that we are ready to allow the Alleghany County Jail to implement some of the funding that was actually allocated last year. So in the past year, I could say that the Alleghany Jail has been an incredible partner with us on our journey. I think it was a planning year. A lot of things were in development, and so the funds that were allocated are at this point ready for carryover if you would consider doing so.
Okay. We need a vote on to amend the.
It's
Vote
just
on
for
Minnie's
information.
Okay, I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions that you might have for us.
Any questions or comments? We appreciate you
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.
We'll have it on for next month. Thank you.
Thank you.
General Business Tax Administrator, Ms. Rita Miller.
So in your package, the consent agenda on the refunds and releases and tax office report. I'd like to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Ms. Rita?
What, this may not have to do, what did we come up with on the gentleman on the solid waste fee building 3 houses?
Last, I think I talked with Sharon Osborne, was gonna bring it back up, and I didn't know if he was gonna do that with a member of the board, or if I needed to bring that.
He called me on it again, so
Okay.
we need to get it on vote for the next thing, or,
Well,
Put it
just
on this agenda for the next
Yeah.
bring it up on the next agenda. We'll talk it over again and see what we can do.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. General Business, Mr. William Shapley.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chairman. We talked about recommendation that Mackenzie Hudson step in as the deputy clerk to the board at the last meeting, and I'm making that recommendation to the board for your decision.
I guess we open the floor for a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
Any further discussion? Not all in favor? 4-0.
Thank you.
That was in the budget too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, next up is April Hand.
So at the request of the board, I did write a letter to our auditors to extend our AUP procedures with Glade Creek Fire Department. And you have the contract in your packet for consideration.
How long will it be before they can start this?
It is my understanding, after the board approves the contract and we get it signed, that they can start immediately.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion to hear a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? 4-0. Okay, April, you're up again.
So at the last board meeting, David and I presented a PowerPoint laying out the process for the transfer station, where we're at in the process with TRC, with design. And I did a summary of a few things for the board to consider for funding for the transfer facility project. What I would like for the board to consider today, we have had lots of discussions about funding of the facility, and we are getting ready to run out of the SCIF funding that we have put back for a couple of years, the $100,000. I think at this point, we may have between $6,000 and $7,000 left of that $100,000. So we know we have additional invoices that are gonna come in for TRC, and we're asking this morning for the board to consider an allocation of the general fund balance to put back for that project. We're gonna have to, the information that's been given to us about the red lake process is we're not gonna find out if we get that loan until the end of the year. So it's gonna be December or January before we find out if we're gonna have any chance at that, so. So that is our request this morning, for the board to consider allocating part of the fund balance.
What amount are you looking for?
We have internally talked about at least what the board did with the high school project, the 1.5 million. Now, we've also talked about going up to 2 million. So we would ask the board to consider anywhere between the 1.5 and 2 million. And the discussions that we actually had recently is, you know, the board could do 1.5 now. We're in the middle of our audit for fiscal year 25. There's always end of year adjustments. There's always grants that came in that need to be represented in the general fund, or maybe not represented, and things like that. So we'll have that final number in the next couple of months to know what we're adding to that fund balance. So the board could allocate 1.5 now. We could go back if needed sometime later on in the year after we get our final audit for fiscal year 25.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
so with your presentation, you were saying LGC was wanting to see our commitment. They want to see some skin in the game.
They want to see some skin in the
So
game.
this would
That is
be one of
correct.
those attempts to do that.
That is correct.
So we won't know about the 1.3 till, is that the one you're talking about, the 1.3
Yeah.
million till January or December?
Correct. December and January will be notification for that red lake process, the rural economic development.
And at that point in January is when we're going to ask for the bids to come in, let out there.
Correct. Per David's part of the presentation, the bids probably will not go out until February, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
I think the 1.5 is fine, like you said, when we get to, till we do the adjustments. 1.5, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Okay. Is that a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the 1.5 consideration of the fund balance for the transfer facility.
I got one question. What does that drop our fund balance down to? I mean, we're extending our money out a good ways before we even take bids on what it's gonna cost, when we know what it's gonna cost.
Per my estimate, and that does take into account state stabilization from fiscal year 24. We don't know what state stabilization will be for fiscal year 25 yet, because the county has taken on an additional loan, that's $6.8 million for the new high school. Right now, the available fund balance is $11,736,233. So if you did the 1.5 now, that would bring it down to 10.2. Now, again, state stabilization is something that is calculated during the audit, the final audit.
Okay. We got a motion, we get a second on that.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? None, all in favor? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, April, you're up again.
So next up is a budget amendment, moving the allocation of fire tax that was due to Glade Creek Fire Department for fiscal year '25. The only thing we're doing here is moving it from last year to this year. So we can, we were directed by the board to hold these funds, so we're just moving it from last year to this year. And it will be added to their allocation for this current
It
fiscal year.
all stays in Lake Creek's
Correct,
a lot of money,
correct.
so everybody knows that. Can't transfer from one district to another district. So open floor for a motion.
I make a motion to approve the budget amendment.
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Not all in favor? 4-0. One more time.
Okay. And per direction of the board, Glade Creek will be bringing their invoices that need to be paid with those fire tax funds to the county manager's office. The county manager's office will review those invoices, and we'll have a signature on that, and then they will come to me as the CFO of the county. I will look at it and review it, sign off on it, and then we will be paying those invoices from the finance office in our normal AP process every 2 weeks.
Okay.
I got one question on that. When they bring a fuel receipt in, I'll make sure it's got the truck number, the miles, you know, so we ain't gonna fill up 10 5-gallon buckets.
We can do that.
And I really don't think we need to be paying for the house out there.
Per the contract, we're not supposed to be paid. There's certain things that should be paid and should not be
Yeah,
paid.
that house, we don't mean the tax dollars are paying for that house. Auditor Sarah told us a day,
We will be reviewing each invoice that comes in.
you know, people in Lake Creek want fire protection, they don't pay for a house for the chief to live in.
Okay, we need a motion here for the fire tax payment procedures as April outlined.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion, need a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? All righty,
Thank you.
thank you. Moving on down, county manager's comment. Mr.
Thank you,
Bishop.
Mr. Chairman. Quick update, we have, with the Veterans Association position, we have made an offer to a candidate. The candidate has accepted. They have to go through the hiring process. Once that's done, we can, at the next board meeting, we'll be able to announce who that is, and we're very pleased. We think we have a really strong candidate that will help move us forward. The other position is the grants position, and we have 2 very strong candidates. We're going to make an offer this week, and hopefully that person will be on board in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So 2 new hires on the way. Want to remind everyone that the county fair is this Thursday through Sunday. You know, come out and enjoy yourselves and participate in the activities. Also, the Mountain Heritage Festival is from 10 to 4:30 on Saturday. And we've got some big name talent that's coming into the county to perform for you. One other thing that I'm launching a economic development component to what we're doing. We're going to place a little more emphasis on trying to attract some small businesses to the county. So I'm going to a meeting. I can't remember where the meeting is, but you don't probably remember off the top of your head. It's in Lenore. Oh, you did remember. Okay, good. In Lenore, I think it's in the next couple of weeks, to meet with state folks to talk about incentives that we can utilize for trying to entice small businesses into the county. Again, with an emphasis on charm over chains. You know, we're looking for unique restaurants and stores. We wouldn't turn down the chains, but our emphasis is more on trying to get something unique moving into the area. And also a meeting with Larry from the chamber to talk about how we can make sure our efforts are combined in trying to make that happen. And good relationship with Jose at the town to talk about some long-range planning and how we could do some planning together. And we just have begun to have that discussion, and I'll fill you in a little bit more on that as things evolve. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, sir. Come on around the table there, Greg, you wanna,
Everybody come out to the fair this weekend and a festival in town. I think it's gonna be busy. Everybody enjoy it. Hope we get some rain before long. Not this week, but
Yeah,
we
right.
need some rain.
Right.
That's all I got.
okay, thank you. Timmy?
Yeah, just want to add to that, it's a busy time of the season for the fairgrounds and the festivals here. It's a pretty important time of year. It actually, as far as people coming in and visiting our county and stuff, and I actually wanted to mention too, they've opened up another section of the Blue Ridge Parkway back over towards what I call Ice Rock area, past the Bluffs Lodge, or Bluffs Restaurant. And also, I wanted to say, I've been up there a couple times, and they do a fabulous job. You gotta go try that sometime if you haven't.
Okay.
The restaurant, of course, they closed down about the middle of October, I think.
Are you talking about the Bluffs?
The Bluffs,
Uh-huh.
yes. But they do a great job. It's, I think it's a nonprofit type deal, partnership with the Park Service. And yesterday they had music there, which is really good. So everybody go and enjoy the parkway as much as they can. It's been off limits for a couple years. And I just wanted to, last but not least, to thank the county employees again, just like Daniel was talking about, our dispatch that we hardly never see, and nobody knows they're there because they're in this little black hole back there. But the point is, they're an important part of our county infrastructure, and they do a great job. And I want to thank them and Daniel and Travis for what they do. And that's it.
Thank you, Tim. Garrison?
I don't have a whole lot of comments. I'd just like to echo what everybody else has already said. Come out to the fair this weekend, go Mountain Heritage Festival, things like that. There's a lot to do with this weekend. And as you said, Mr. Chairman, keep Mr. Irwin and his wife in your prayers, and family of Hugh Gray Shelton. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. I don't have too much either. It's all pretty well been covered. I do just like to highlight the fair a little bit. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday night's a big truck and tractor pull. Saturday starting around 2 o'clock, 2:33. They have music all evening long, and program, cash shows, and a lot of going on. Going to be a beautiful weather. If we all think back a year ago, Helene was beating the heck out of us that weekend, and didn't have much of a fair, but gonna make it up this time, looks like. But everybody come out and support the local fair. Also, the Mountain Heritage on Saturday. That's a full day event up and down Main Street. I think that's over with about 4:30. So be a big day for the Alleghany County, the Heritage Festival, the fair, everything that's going on. And I'd like to mention Mr. Hugh Shepherd. He was a good supporter of Glade Creek Fire Department. He was a board member for 12 years, chairman for about 5 years, and helped to move Glade Creek along real well out there, and we appreciate him. Let's remember his family in prayer. And also Bobby and his family, Bobby Irwin there. Remember all those. I'd like to see us get a joint meeting of the school here for too awful long, whenever they're get settled down in school, starting to get a few updates and see how things is moving. We can check that out with them. I think it'd be a good time to do that though. If you can begin to see what's happening up there in the parking lot. So I think that's about it for me. Anybody else have anything? Heather, Bill, Lisa, we need a story out of you. You ain't been on the spot.
I'll come up with something.
Dude?
No, good.
All right. Well, with that being said, we appreciate everybody coming. Ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Not bad. Not bad.
Like last, such short time.